Material selection is a key strategy for reducing exposure to PFAS in our buildings. So, where do you start? With the likely sources of PFAS, we know that designers face many competing priorities when selecting materials. Not every material can be optimized for every criteria. So, let's turn our attention to how we can prioritize which materials to focus on. Here are some keys to figuring out which materials present the biggest potential hazard in a building. No two projects are the same, but these are the types of questions you can be asking to set priorities. What's the client's top priority? Is it purely economics? Is it health? Where does the client spend most of their time? Will sensitive populations spend time in the space? Are there children? Anyone with a chronic illness? How much of the product is in the space? What's the square area of the product? How long will the product stay in the space? 1 year? 10 years? How likely are people to touch the product? What other chemicals are in the product? How likely are the total chemicals to off-gas or dust from the product? And what healthier alternatives exist for this product? We can also use exposure modeling, using a stereotypical single-family home to model potential human exposure of what we know about the product and where it's to be used. This table was built from that model home. You can see which products have the highest loading in the home. This is essentially materials on the walls, ceilings, and floors, as you might expect. Ongoing maintenance of the building plays a huge role in exposure risks, but those maintenance procedures actually tie back to the design of the building. Designers likely already consider what it will take to keep a space looking good and how durable a product needs to be to withstand the test of time. This design and selection also has a ripple effect on the maintenance of the space. Designers need to think about how easy a product is to clean and how likely it is to accumulate dust. We learned earlier that settled dust can be a significant exposure source. Are the materials that are specified going to realistically be kept clear of dust? Are they easily accessible, and can they be easily cleaned? A fabric wall treatment that is out of reach, for example, is likely going to be a source for future dust. To sum up how PFAS behavior impacts maintenance. Since we know that emissions can migrate into other materials, avoiding the introduction of PFAS in the first place is essential. Since we know that the off-gassing happens over a longer period of time and absorbs into other surfaces, cleaning protocols around dust removal are essential. Since we still don't fully understand the health effects of PFAS, it's best to take a precautionary approach to reducing exposure. To learn more about PFAS and stay up to date on series PFAS research, visit chemicalinsights.org/PFAS.